I come this afternoon with some additional information. I've actually came asking for help twice on this case that we had from the Timberland Park area. If you recall, back at the end of January 30th, we had a young lady who around 6 o'clock in the evening was jogging in the area of Timberland Park and Southside Boulevard, when then an unknown male approached her. She ran by him. He made eye contact with her. He came up behind her, struck her in the head in an attempt to drag her into a wooded area. At that point in time, we didn't have much to go on. Since then, I had come back to you with a composite drawing of what we believe the suspect looked like, as well as some information on a hoodie that we discovered, and we put a photograph of that out. Flash forward to the 14th of this month, in the afternoon of the 3100 block of Emerson Street, another sexual assault occurred. This was at a abandoned building at the entrance, or at the intersection of Emerson and Phillips Highway. In that case, a woman had met this man at the McDonald's across the street from the store, from the business. She engaged him in conversation. They went back to the location. She was homeless, was kind of living in this area behind the building. As she was bending over to pick something up, the male struck her in the head, sexually battered her. He beat her quite severely. As he finished his sexual assault, he got up and walked away. She was able to get up to a citizen who helped call 911, put out a description of the suspect. The suspect was picked up. His hoodie that he was wearing during that sexual assault and beating was recovered. The two of those obviously had great similarity in the fact that these are sexual assaults. Now, the first one was not a sexual assault on Timberland Park, and I don't really want to speculate what the motive was, but the way he struck both women in the head and attempted to manhandle them, or did manhandle them, led us to look at him a little closer. And sure enough, he lived with family members in the Timberland Park area. That's a residential neighborhood back where the assault occurred. He was living with family members over there. We submitted some evidence to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement from the hoodie that I had mentioned during one of the news conferences, and the DNA sample that we took from him, as well as DNA from the hoodie, matched. The victim in the Timberland Park case identified the suspect by way of a photo spread, so he has been linked to both cases now. We have charged him this morning with an attempted kidnapping and an aggravated battery on the Timberland Park case. He had also been charged with sexual assault back on the 14th from the assault and sexual battery that occurred on Emerson Street. He's 26-year-old Michael Justin Lorsey. He lives over there in the Timberland Park area. He was on probation for a robbery from New York State and had registered as a criminal felon here in Jacksonville. The identity of our victim from Timberland Park is at this point in time being withheld. I can't say for sure that was a sexual assault, but to protect her identity, we are classifying it as such, and she's asked for protection under the public record laws that she's able to do. I can answer a few questions in reference to either one of those cases.
The DNA testing, was that part of the same DNA grant, or is this separate?
No, this is separate. This is
okay.
Obviously an active hot case that we're working in. Was submitted through the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. And,
Has there any reason to believe that he might have been working with someone else? Was someone else arrested in this case?
In which case?
With Michael Lorsey.
I realize that, but he's been charged with two separate cases. I just want to make sure.
Okay. Because he's been charged with kidnapping. What has he been charged with?
With the Timberland Park case, he was charged with attempted kidnapping and aggravated battery. That's for hitting her in the head and attempting to drag her in the woods. From the case off Emerson and Phillips, he was charged with sexual battery in that case, and kidnapping as well.
You said he was registered. Is he a registered predator or sexual?
No, he is not. He is not either a sexual offender or a predator. But because of the fact he was on probation from another state and came to our state, he had to register here as a felon with us, which he did.
When was the connection made that he's responsible for both? How recently? Because the arrest on Emerson was, or the incident on Emerson was the 14th.
The incident was on the 14th. It was that day that we realized where he lived and the potential connection with the fact that this could be related to our Timberland Park case. Then we began working the evidence from there to try to connect the two cases. Since then is when it has been worked through the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. We have our DNA results back and charged him this morning.
Were there any other arrests in either one of the attacks?
No, there have not been any other arrests in either attack.
Did he confess to either?
He was cooperative, but I would not say he confessed.
Was his family aware of his background? What kind of information?
Well, the family was aware, obviously, that he had been arrested and was on probation out of New York, and was aware that he was there. And whether they knew his involvement with any of these cases or not, I'm not sure.
Given that he was on probation out of New York, will he be staying here to be tried
Oh,
for this? Or
absolutely,
that's,
yes, he is ours in the state of Florida. He has to answer to them.
and
Is it-
with two potential victims here, is there any concern that there could even be more?
We're looking into that, looking into, with New York, actually, with his method that he operated being so similar. We've actually had some conversations with the folks in New York where he was from to look at any unsolved cases that they may have of a similar nature, and the same thing that we would do with cases of a similar nature. We've not found any that are similar here with us, but due diligence is to check with New York to make sure that if there are related cases, that he answers for them as well.
Is this a relief to the sheriff's office? This is something on the south side that's left a lot of residents concerned about their safety.
Yeah,
Trying to
this-
get this guy.
This is good to have this put away. Obviously, you know, when I stood up before and talked about Timberland Park and what he had done, it's hard to speculate on a motive. Well, you flash forward to the 14th of March and you see what his motive was, and at least in that case, and it's a good thing to not have him roaming the streets.
Was he at Timberland Park for both assaults? He's living in the same residence?
Yes, he's living in the same residence during the time of both assaults.
Any other questions?
Thank you all
All
for
right.
your cooperation.